Hey, what is going on, PGL channel? It is Super Gassy here, coach of the New York Shellmets. With me today, I have DarkZekrom. Introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. DarkZekrom here, and I'm glad to be helping you with this weekly recap today.
DarkZekrom here is going to be helping us out with the weekly recap, week to week, when he can. Powder and Equa are still going to be doing the power rankings whenever they can get those up, hopefully. But yeah, I just wanted to do weekly recap for you guys, for anyone who missed the matches or is too lazy to just watch them all. We're going to be going over what happened in every match with the week 3 games. So, starting off with our week 3 games, we have the Knutsford Kabutops versus the United Kingler. This one ended up being a 5-0 win for the Kabutops here. And any opinion on this match? Did you get a chance to watch it?
I did earlier in the week. I do remember it was on Pokemon Showdown. I remember it was quite a bit of a sweep, as you guys can see. That Volcarona, as soon as it got set up, it really was unable to be touched, and the Kinglers had no shot at even damaging it at all without having to sack off somebody at every turn. So that Volcarona was major threat especially when it got set up.
Yeah. Willow had the Scarfed Gardevoir come in on the Volcarona, going constantly for the Destiny Bond as Tops just said, you know, screw that. I'm not even gonna attack the thing. I'm just gonna go for Quiver Dance until it struggles, and it was basically GG from there. You know, I think Dugtrio got rocks up and killed something before it went down. I think it killed off the Rapidash.
Yeah, I think the Rapidash took the rocks. It was either that or yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the Rapidash actually.
Yeah, and then just utter destruction happened.
It was quite a bit of a massacre there.
It was. Not much more to say about that match. It was pretty clean and cut. Nothing really too... I don't know. It was just a clean 5-0. Very short game.
Yeah,
Did have to happen on Showdown.
Quicker game.
Yeah, one of those quicker games. Next game we have, not going to spend too much time talking on that game because we all know what happened. Next game we have is the Sydney Sea Kings versus the Blackthorn Frogadiers. Sydney Sea Kings coming into this still undefeated at 2-0, and the Blackthorn Frogadiers are sitting at 1-1, looking for another win. And the Sydney Sea Kings take it home with another clean 5-0 game. A lot of 5-0s this week. A lot of 5-0s.
Yeah,
Lax from the start was just playing incredible. I believe Ioku led off with that Greninja.
Yeah, led off with the Greninja, and he went for the Ice Beam. He did the Calcs. I remember watching it, and he did the Calcs live, and the Tornadus took the Ice Beam too well. He was not expecting it to take as little damage as it did, and I still don't understand what happened either.
It was, I think Lax, I was watching his side, and he said it was like a max HP, max special defense, something like that.
Assault Vest?
Assault Vest Tornadus T.
I can see that. Something to throw him off a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, it was incredible. Just, and Shin and Sky getting its first kill.
Yeah, that was cool. That Ice Beam, that did nothing.
Literally nothing.
I think it was useless after that.
Yeah, the main turning point was when Keldeo came in. I was watching the game and I saw Keldeo come in and I was like, oh no. Lax loves his Keldeo. He just said, you know what, he's going to go to Gastrodon. He's carrying the Hidden Power Grass, goes for it, gets it to the point where Gastrodon can't take another Hidden Power Grass.
Just completely destroyed that Gastrodon's life, and then the Mew really helped take that thing down to its red health and really get the switch and really help.
Yeah, the Mega Gardevoir was in on the Mew, and it was going for Hyper Voices, but Lax just said, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to let Mew die. It's already paralyzed, just going to hit it with an Earthquake, put it at range for something else to come in and kill it. And it just went so well in Lax's favor. He was just playing well the whole match. And there's really
just lining up. It's like the stars just aligned and Lax just went in hand. There's nothing much really that they could do with it.
Yeah, Lax just team built so well, and there was really nothing Iyoku could have done. I mean, he played well, he really did, but the one thing I would have switched with what he was doing is not have the Gastrodon be the primary switch into a Keldeo.
No. No.
No.
I wouldn't have done that either. I probably would have, if I could have kept Gardevoir switching to the Klefki just to see what they were going to do. Maybe even get a Paralyze off or something. But I wouldn't have switched in the Gastrodon there. That was not the brightest play in that match there.
Yeah, most of the time if you play OU, and I think he was running a bulky Latias, Iyoku, which completely and utterly walls any Keldeo set. So I wasn't sure why he wasn't switching into Latias in the beginning there.
Mm-hmm. It seemed like he was a bit flustered, to be honest. He was, I think, really worried about the Diancie. He just didn't want that thing to do anything, and the Mew was being a big threat too, and I think he was just overthinking things. I know I used to do that back in the day when I've competitive battled more often. I would overthink a lot, and I'd kind of go for the unusual plays thinking I was making something good, and I just end up screwing myself and shooting myself in the foot. So that could have been something that he was doing, just really worrying about something I didn't really need to at the time.
Yeah, it was just... I think he wasn't switching the Latias in because he didn't want it to get Scald burned, which would make sense. But...
yeah.
You know, when someone has a Gastrodon, you're not immediately going to click Scald. And Lax is a good player like that. He knows that not to click Scald until that Gastrodon is gone.
Exactly. Because that Gastrodon's going to come in and just eat it up, render everything useless, and there's no point. Then using your Keldeo is just going to take a hit that you don't really need.
Yeah. So, just an overall great match from Lax and showing why he's still undefeated right now.
Yeah, Lax, I wouldn't be surprised if Lax moves on very far in this competition here.
Oh, yeah. As I've said, and I said this to you right before we started recording, Lax is a playoff team, and he's out for blood this season. He really is.
I would not want to be anywhere near any of his team members, any of his draft picks right now. He's going to make sure you're not expecting anything. He's going to do weird, crazy things with his Pokemon that's going to work. He's going to do all the nonsense and all the hacks that he can just to get my streak going.
Yeah, Lax is just overall great player. So let's go on to our next match here with where we saw the Minnesota Wild Charge versus the Seattle Star Raptors. This was a little confusing of a game. I know you said you haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I haven't gotten around to watching this one just yet, but from what I can tell, it looks like that Landorus team might have done quite a bit in this match here. Although it does seem like a pretty close match here with the 2-0.
Yeah, it was a very close match. I don't think Gearhart necessarily played bad. I know it got to a point where Sharp had the Landorus out, and it was Yachi Berry, and Gearhart didn't see any leftovers or anything else. He thought it was Choice Scarf because it kept going for Earthquake, and he just had no switch into Earthquake at that point because Ludicolo had already been taken out by Thundurus, I believe.
Okay.
No, not Thundurus. Nidoking, sorry. Something like that.
Yeah. There's Sand Thundurus on this team. That's not the best thing in the world.
Yeah, and then Florges got paralyzed by Thundurus and was trying to go for a Moonblast on Landorus, I believe, or maybe it was the Thundurus. I can't even recall this game too well. But I know it got paralyzed like 4 times in a row, and it was just the worst luck in the world for Gearhart. Because he was trying to go for an Aromatherapy and a Moonblast, and Hax just was relentless on him this game. It did get to a point where Scrafty was setting up, and Scizor was basically Gearhart's only check to it. Being able to take a knockoff, a Drain Punch, etc. And basically taking out Scrafty with 2 bullet punches.
That's good then. Yeah, from what I can tell, just looking at the recap here, it was a very close game, and I watched very little of the battle, and I think both teams did play well, while these Raptors could have played a little better. It was, like I said, a very close match. With almost having a kill with almost everyone.
Yeah, it was definitely intense. It was it looked hopeful for Gearhart when, Florges was out, he was going to kill something off, everything was going to be okay, and then just, it got paralyzed, things went down.
Paralyzed.
Yeah. And then, he really screwed up on that Landers T play, though, I believe, where he was just not thinking that it wouldn't be not Choice Scarfed.
Yeah. Is Yachiberry, is that a common set right now?
No, I don't, not in, like, standard play, but in leagues like this, where berries are so common, it can easily throw you for a loop, especially when Gearhart had Nidoqueen, who came in, used the Ice Beam on Landorus, and he saw the Yachiberry, and he finally went, oh crap, it's not Choice Scarf, or something like that, because he realized he outsped it, and he didn't know what the heck was going on. He saw Yachiberry and said, well...
There goes my... Yeah,
there goes Nidoqueen.
That's really gotta suck. Man, I'll have to watch that battle later then.
Yeah, so... that's a 2-0 victory for the Minnesota Wild Charge, picking up 2 wins after their Week 1 loss there. And we'll go on to the Atlanta Talonflame versus the Boston Silk Scarfs. This was a big match. This was a real big match.
I do have some notes on this battle here. It was a really, really close match. Mega Slowbro is one of my favorite Pokemon, personally, so that was cool. The Rotom did very well, as you guys probably saw, with 3 kills, and it didn't die, so it went flawless in this battle here. But I said a good play here was when he got the when T-Train got the burn on the Umbreon, which really helped him knock that thing out and get rid of the wall and get rid of something to worry about, and I felt like that really turned the battle into the Talonflame's favor.
Yeah, True had the Umbreon in and kept going for the curses, and then I think it finally got burned by Mega Slowbro, maybe?
Yeah, it got burned by Mega Slowbro. It got Scald Burn, and the Umbreon basically was just sacked off from there. I think what was going on was the Silk Scarfs were planning on baton passing the +6 attack and defense onto something that maybe could have used it that wouldn't have outsped usually, maybe, I don't know, maybe the Dawn Fan or something.
Yeah, True said he was trying to pass it to the Suicune. And set up Calm Minds from there, so he would have a +6 defense Suicune, +6 special attack, and +6 special defense.
That is terrifying.
That is absolutely terrifying. Didn't work out for him, though. It kind of worried me because his only attacking move on the Umbreon was Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
And when you're going up against the Mega Slowbro, it's not going to really try and attack you if he figures out your only attacking move is Sucker Punch.
Yeah, it's just going to constantly slack off and get the health back from the various damages you could have taken from before in the match.
Yeah, the thing is, too, if that Slowbro had gotten up with some Calm Minds, if it was a Calm Mind set, that would have been very scary for True. Even if he tried to pass those defense and attack boosts, whatever, to something else.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, Mega Slowbro beats Suicune.
Yeah, the Calm Minds on the Mega Slowbro would have been a lot more vital than the Calm Minds on the Suicune, even with the +6, like you said, attack and defense. The -6 speed, I believe T-Train even mentioned it in the battle. He's like, I don't know what he's trying to do with this -6 speed, or why anyone want it, or you might have mentioned that. Why anyone want -6 speed on a Pokemon, even with attack and defense? But it's... the Mega Slowbro would have just annihilated everything if it got those Calm Minds up.
Yeah.
So I think both of them were trying to go for the setup moves to really seal the deal and really finish off the battle. But I'd say the Talonflames just got a nice 2-0 victory, knocking off the Silk Scarf victory streak so far.
Yeah, and Hippopotas finally did something.
Yeah, Hippopotas finally did something.
It was whirlwinding out that Umbreon every time it tried to curse.
Yep.
So, that was interesting to see.
Yeah, it was an interesting battle.
Yeah, so I think he did try to go for the Sand Rush sweep with Excadrill way too early, though, and it didn't really work out.
Didn't work out, and then in the long run, Excadrill did get 2 kills, but it did end up dying. Tangrowth kind of sat there.
Being Tangrowth.
Yeah, just kind of ate up some hits.
Yeah.
really did. I'd say I was the MVP of that battle, to be honest.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure why he did bring the Tangrowth, considering the Silk Scarps do have a Sun team.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was Chlorophyll Tangrowth. I think it was Regenerator.
Oh, that's really interesting then. I'm surprised it didn't die so quickly.
Yeah. Latios still doing nothing as usual. And Scarf Rotom is a god. So
Yep.
that's about it for that match. Let's move on to what I think should have been a way different turnout for this game, which is the Detroit Cobalions versus the New York Clinks. Detroit Cobalions taking away a 1-0 victory and continuing their winning streak here. Right off the bat, they led off with Golurk, I believe, and Clinks led off with the Rotom Wash.
Yeah, that was a really interesting decision. The Rotom, I think the Golurk was afraid of the Rotom Wash, his Hydro Pumps, so I don't remember if it stayed in or switched out, but I do remember the Rotom Wash missed like 4 or 5 Hydro Pumps in a row.
Yeah, I missed like 4 Hydro Pumps in a row, and then it was just C coming back and trying to revenge kill things. That Crobat did so much damage to Anister's team.
Mm-hmm.
The Specs Rotom Wash, which was an incredible set.
Yeah, that was a really big threat, and when he tricked the I believe it was the Golurk and got the leftovers, that was insane, and it was still doing insane amount of damage.
It was still doing so much damage to things.
It's ridiculous. That Rotom Wash is not something you want to be taking lightly. That's a Pokemon you really need to watch out for, unless you have something to knock it out in one hit, or at least do enough where they have to switch. It's not, like I said, it's not something you can easily deal with.
Well, the thing is, if you're Anister, you're not expecting a Specs Rotom Wash from C. Mm-hmm. You're expecting like something defensive to take on Heatran and Slowbro, etc. And C just said, screw it, I'm bringing offensive Rotom. And it just totally threw Anister off. And I think that was a great decision by C to bring the Specs Rotom Wash, because oh my god. If that thing hit those 4 Hydro Pumps...
Much different battle. In the end, though, the whole victory was just, from what we can tell, was a misclick when the Garchomp came in versus the Crobat to begin with, and the Beautifly was able to knock out the Garchomp. That was such a clutch thing. The Beautifly got 2 kills because of that. They got rid of I believe, the Alakazam and the Garchomp, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Because it had Swarm activated, so that Bug Buzz did way too much.
Swarm, Bug Buzz, the Stab, and the Super Effectivity, except on the Garchomp. But honestly, that battle could have gone much differently if the Rotom Wash didn't miss all 4 of those, the Hydro Pumps, and if Garchomp didn't come, because I believe even the Cobalians said in the battle, why would you send in the Garchomp when you could have Brave Birded, knocked out the Heatran's Balloon, and then come in with the Garchomp and Earthquake and win the battle.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is that when the Beautifly was in, instead of bringing Garchomp, C should have really brought out the Crobat. Crobat could take any hit from the Beautifly, because I don't think it learns any Psychic type moves. Maybe that's just Butterfree.
I think Butterfree gets Confusion. I can check that right now.
I know Butterfree gets Psychic.
Yeah, I can check that right now. In fact, let me do that. Beautifly. If I'm not mistaken, it might be able to get something. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't know. I genned Anister's team, so I knew that the Beautifly only had Giga Drain, Bug Buzz, and some other move. It had nothing to hit the Crobat really, really hard.
Yeah.
So, if he had brought in the Crobat first, you go for a Brave Bird, you take any one hit from the Beautifly, you knock it down to its Sash.
Yeah, exactly.
If it was already down on its Sash, I'm not sure. And then once you do that, you take it out with another Brave Bird. Heatran comes in, you go for a Brave Bird versus that. You bring in Garchomp, you go for the Earthquake because the air balloons popped, and you win. So, I'm not sure what was going through C's head to bring in Garchomp first. Garchomp would have definitely cleaned up the game had Crobat come in first.
Yeah, honestly, he even said, the Kvaling's even told the viewers that it was a misclick apparently, so I don't have any explanation for that either besides a misclick or just, oh crap, I'm going to lose this battle if I don't do something Garchomp because it's an intimidating threat. That's something I personally, I would do that. Garchomp's intimidating, it's not something you want to see on the field right away, you know, especially a Mega Garchomp. Although they didn't have that. I'm just saying, like, dang it, what do I do? I'm in a tough situation. Do I bring in the Crobat and go for the recoil, but knock out something, or should I go for the Garchomp and intimidate him, maybe get him to switch or something? I don't know.
I don't know. I
really
just feel like if
Steve
brought in Crobat first, this would have been a totally different game.
Oh no, I agree with you fully. I fully agree.
Yeah.
Lynx would have wanted if the Crobat came in first, because pop the air balloon and then come in with the
Kill
Garchomp.
off the Beautifly, and then Garchomp comes in and kills the Heatran. So, even if he did misclick, Garchomp was not the thing you wanted to go in first.
Not at all, no.
Not at all. Especially Swarm Bug Buzz. It doesn't matter if that's a resisted hit on Garchomp. That's taking it down.
Yeah. Especially with this, like, just everything involving Bug Buzz, with the Swarm and the Beautifly and the Stab and everything, that's not something Garchomp will take easily, even with full HP. That's done a huge chunk of damage.
Yeah. Alright, so last game we have here, which is the Seattle Smeargles versus me in the New York Shelmets. I'm not going to try and talk about this match too much because I obviously played it. And so, what are your thoughts on this match?
I personally commentated this match.
Yeah.
I did it solo, if I'm not mistaken. I talked for about 43 minutes straight, and it was a very one-sided battle, especially towards you guys on the Shelmets, because that Mega Aggron, I've even mentioned it in the video, I've mentioned it offline. The Mega Aggron is not something to be taken very lightly, especially with the amount of defense and the fact that it loses a type. It's a huge threat in a lot of ways, and the way both teams played, you played by bringing the Fortress, swapping it out. It was a very, very passive battle, except when the Aggron came in. I think that's the reason why it took 43 minutes to complete, is because you guys were playing so defensively, trying to switch, like, double switch on each other and trying to get the different moves off. I mentioned so many times maybe we should switch in the Arcanine when I was commentating the battle, switch on the Arcanine to beat the Fortress out and bring in something the Arcanine could hit well. I know the extreme speed on Arcanine wasn't doing too much to anything that it hit. And didn't you set up with Aggron at one point? Didn't you get a few setup moves up?
When the Alamomola came in, it got toxic poisoned and with the toxic spikes up, so I knew that Mega Aggron, even if it got burned, I have rest. So it wouldn't really matter if he did get the burn.
Yeah. I just remembered
that,
yeah.
Scald was doing like 0 to me, so I just figured, okay, I've already scouted the Skarmory, I know it doesn't have Whirlwind. I haven't scouted the Kyurem Black, but from the set I've seen, it doesn't seem to have Earth Power, which could 2-hit KO Mega Aggron.
The 3 battles I've commentated, I don't remember if Kyurem Black had the Earth Power or not. I've only ever seen it use, I think, Fusion, Bolt, and something ice something, I can't remember off the top of my head. But, yeah, the Alamomola, the toxic spikes on your part was just really, that was kind of the turning point, I would say, is once both layers of toxic spikes got up, because there's so many things, and like you said, it doesn't have a Whirlwind. I don't even think Skarmory had Defog, to be honest. I don't know.
It didn't.
Yeah, I don't know of any Pokemon on the Smeargles team that would have been able to get rid of any of those, you know, those hazards. The toxic spikes would have been able to be taken out if Skarmory wasn't flying. Like, if your Mega Aggron was on the Smeargle side, then it would have been able to get rid of the toxic spikes, and it would have been such a big deal. But the fact of the matter is, the toxic spikes, combined with the Stealth Rocks, just did so much damage to anything that switched in. There was really nothing the Smeargles could do besides just maybe stay in with a Pokemon, trying to bait switch, but you were doing the same thing as well. And like you said, as soon as the Alamomola came in, you saw a free opportunity for Mega Aggron. It was scalding you, hoping you got the burn. I personally was hoping it was going to get the burn, because that Mega Aggron is not a Pokemon to be taken without Kosh was rooting for the burn. Never happened. Almamola was gone. Especially, I think it was all from Toxic, if I'm not mistaken. And you got the rest off, and I'm like, God damn it! There goes. Battle's over.
Yeah, I think the reason the match took so long is because I saw the Kieran Black and I saw the Skarmory, and I said, okay, Skarmory either has to have Defog or Whirlwind or both. I don't know. If it has Whirlwind, I can't set up Mega Aggron too early then. I did have very big opportunities to set up Mega Aggron in the early game versus the Skarmory, versus the Alomomola, the Sylveon, etc. It just didn't seem like the right moment. You know what I mean? So that's why I was spamming Iron Head with it first to throw him off, make sure it wasn't... he had nothing that could really stop it when it's set up. His only answer from what I could see is spamming Scald with Alomomola, Flare Blitz with Arcanine. That's it. So once I noticed that, I realized, okay, no Whirlwind on Skarmory. I've already scouted for that. No Earth Power on Kieran Black. I haven't scouted for that, but Sketchy has ran Choice Scarf Kieran Black last week also, so I figured that would be the set he's running, which I think I did see on his side in the match, because he did try to click out of Iron Head and click something else, and it said Choice Scarf only allows this. So, yeah, it was actually a really good game despite the 5-0 win. It was very tense in the beginning.
Both teams played very well, and like I said, there were so much defensive thinking and so much passive thoughts going on between both teams. It felt like you guys were both actually next to each other in like an infrared match, like giving each other a poker face, you know, oh god, what am I going to do in your head, but you're just looking at them straight in the eye, you know, smirking, throwing them off. It really felt like you guys were right next to each other, and it was a really good battle, even though, like you said, it did end in the 5-0 victory from almost basically the Aggron sweep.
Yeah, and I saw that you commentated it, and at the end I switched in the Zapdos on the Skarmory, and you're like, what? Like, what is going on? Because halfway through the match, he was spamming Roost with Skarmory, and I was messaging him, and I go, Iron Head has more PP than Roost. Iron Head has 24 PP, Roost has 16. So eventually he would run out of Roost.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're not stopping the Mega Aggron, you're just stalling the inevitable.
Yeah.
So
that's also the reason why that battle went on for so long, because of all the stalling.
So when his last Pokemon was Skarmory, I thought he's just gonna keep clicking Roost. So I'm just gonna go into Zapdos, let it get the last kill, and not play this stall game anymore.
Yeah, I was like, you're almost there. Why are you? And I was watching the HP. You guys could go back and do it too. It was just so much Roost ironing to say. In fact, if I remember correctly, I was on Twitter on my phone, like just commentating that part of the battle. Because it was just Iron Head Roost, Iron Head Roost, Iron Head Roost, Iron Head Roost, and I was watching the HP of the Skarmory, and it was going down by like 2 points per turn, because leftovers, and I think it was, I don't remember, I think it was just leftovers, and your Iron Heads just somehow were getting max damage with the min damage, and it was just not working right, and I'm like, what the hell, okay, Iron Head Roost, okay, go for Iron Head Roost, looks like we're going for Iron Head Roost, Iron Head Roost, you know, it was just back and forth.
Yeah,
So when you did, what are you doing? That's why I freaked out a little bit about it.
Yeah, well, speaking of back and forths, let's go to the team standings here, division standings, and we'll talk about what's going on in each division, who's what and where and so on. So let's start off with the Alpha division here. We have the Knutsford Kabutops at 3 wins, 0 losses, on their 3-win streak with a +10 differential. Next is the Sydney Sea Kings, 3 wins, 0 losses, +9 differential. Blackthorn Frogadiers taking their 2 losses the last 2 weeks at 1-2, -6, and the United Kingler still looking for a win at 0-3 with a -8 differential. So, how do you think this conference is turning out here? This division.
It seems to be pretty dominated by 2 water types, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, the whole damn thing is water types. It's pretty lopsided right now, I'd say so myself. The Kinglers have not been playing a very good season so far, as you guys can clearly see. 0-3. They need to get a victory, hopefully next week they get the victory. The Frogadiers, they need another victory to keep themselves balanced, and the Sea Kings and Kabutops really can deal with a loss or two without taking too much heat from it. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I know Lax was leading this conference the past 2 weeks, and then the Kabutops got that 5-0 win, and it just threw them on top. And when you have a division with 2 undefeated teams, you're gonna have 2 teams on the bottom who aren't doing so well.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can see the Frogadiers or the Kinglers maybe take out the Kabutops or the Sea Kings in future weeks, and maybe try and throw this division up in the air more. I mean, no one's locked into a playoff spot yet. We have 10 weeks to go. Well, not 10 weeks to go. We have like 7 weeks to go. And everything's very open right now. The Kabutops could go on a losing streak. Sea Kings could go on a losing streak, though I kind of doubt it with the way Lax plays. But when you have 3 newcomers in this division, and you have the guy who's been here since season 1, it's I don't know. Anything can still happen in this division. I still wouldn't count the Kingler or the Frogadiers out, but you just have those 2 teams dominating right now.
What everyone here really needs is, I would say, the two teams that are on the lower end right now, they need to get 4-0s to 6-0s, if that's even possible right now in this division, to really boost themselves, because even with just a win, if it's by a 1, it's only going to bring them to a 5, or 7 in the Kingler's case. It's not really going to help much. So they really need to win, and also you really win big. Otherwise, they're not really going to be able to move themselves up too much.
Yeah, I think only the Frogadiers, Kinglers, and Kabutops. Well, the Frogadiers and Kinglers have both played the Kabutops and the Sea Kings so far. Everyone in every division plays everyone in their division twice, I believe, this season. I'm not sure how we did the schedule. I have to check that. But they do have more chances to come at those higher up teams, and hopefully they take those chances, which will be very nice. So
yeah, hopefully,
yeah, that division looking some big winners there. So let's go on to the Delta division. Did you have something to say about the Alpha one?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm kind of waiting for the salt to come out of these teams. I mean, they all live in the ocean, so they're already pretty salty. But the fact that they're just, I don't know. I'm waiting for one of the 2 top teams to just have a salt battle, and just they're gonna get demolished. I don't know. I can feel that for some reason.
All right. Well, with that, let's move on to the Delta division. You want to read off the teams and scores and whatnot?
Yeah, so we've got the Detroit Cabalians with 3 wins and 0 losses with 3 win streak, a differential of 9. The New York Shellmets 1 win streak with a differential of -1. Seattle Smeargulls, the home team over here. Loss streak of 1, -6. Seattle Star Raptors 0-3, loss streak of 3 with a -9.
All right, so a lot going on in this division.
Yeah, it's not clear of anything really.
Yeah,
it's really mixed up.
This is the most balanced division in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. You got the 2 1-2 teams, the 1-3-0 team, the 1-0-3 team.
It's like a sandwich, kind of. It's like a weird palindrome sandwich.
Yeah. Everything's still very up in the air. Cobalions are just, I mean, they really should have lost that match versus the Klings. Oh my god.
For sure.
Would have made everything so much closer.
Yeah, that was quite an interesting match.
Calling bullshit on Inister. But yeah, there's the Smeargulls and me, the Shellmets, tied in record, not in differential right now. Everything's still very open. I mean, the Seattle Star Raptors, not having the hottest season, but in a division like they are, it'll be very easy to come back if the other two teams don't pick it up.
Yeah, I fully agree.
So, I know Gearhart's been salty, like, why am I 0-3? But he's really not in the worst scenario. I mean, I think the other 0-3 teams are in probably a worse scenario than him.
Yeah, looking at it.
Yeah.
I'd say, going back to the Kinglers for a second, yeah, I'd say the Staraptors are nowhere near as bad as the Kinglers are, and the Kinglers are complete opposites of the Kabutops and the Sea Kings, while the Staraptors are one team, but they could easily come back with a good like 4-0, 3-0 victory. But like you said, it's really just like about the differentials. You need that just as much as you do the wins.
Yeah, differential really matters when it comes to these kind of leagues. I know there's been other leagues where they don't count differential for some reason, but when you have two teams who are tied with record, how are you going to decide who's what and where? Differential is the easiest way to kind of just settle that argument.
Yeah, I fully agree.
So that's a very, very sandwich division right now, but let's go on to Omega Division, where we have something pretty different than the other two. We have the Minnesota Wild Charge sitting at 2 wins, 1 loss, and +7 differential. The Boston Silk Scarfs with 2 wins, 1 loss, +2 differential. The Atlanta Talonflames, 2 wins, 1 loss, +1 differential. And the New York Lynx, 0-3, -8 differential. What the heck is going on in this division?
I don't know. I really don't know. Like I said a second ago, this is really where differential kind of matters, because damn, division. It's just 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, and 0-3. I mean, the Clinks, I feel bad, but come on, what the hell? Let's do a 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, you know? Get like at least some all ties in here. But the 3-way tie for first right now is kind of insane.
Yeah, very, very crazy. I mean, the Minnesota Wild Charge are in first right now, but only by differential. You know, the Silk Scarfs could win next week just a bit better than the Wild Charge and possibly take first.
Exactly.
Like, you never know. So, very up in the air right now. I mean, this is a very tight-neck division right now. If you even lose one game, you're kind of throwing yourself down.
Yeah.
And that's got to be really stressful for these teams.
If it ends up being that the Wild Charge or the Talonflames get a 2-2 next week, there's the Clinks can like just pop up, take possibly second if they're not careful. These teams really have to play kind of careful in a way in their next battles to make sure that they do win and keep their differentials, if not beat the other team out through said differential. Trying to, they can't play too cocky, otherwise it's really going to screw themselves in the line.
Yeah, and as before with the Star Raptors, I don't think the Clinks are in the worst possible position either. You have everyone who's 2-1, and guess who they're going to be playing? Each other. So, they can't all stay with just one loss the whole way around. I know the way we do playoffs now, it's who's ever first in their division, in each division, and then the best 3 remaining records. But I don't think the Clinks are really in a bad scenario. I think they can still pull it back, and when you have a division like this where a lot of teams are going to play each other, well, every team plays each other, but they can't all stay 2-1. So, and the Clinks get a chance to face all those teams too, so they're going to get a chance to just hopefully take some wins from them and find their way back to the top.
Hopefully something like that happens. It's really, like you said, it's more lopsided right now than the Delta Division in a way that it isn't truly anyone's game. It's little pull, little tug, but it can still be anyone's game if played correctly.
Yeah, so 3 very different divisions going on here. Some more competitive than the other, but man, Alpha Division just, what the hell? Got 2 of the undefeated teams there.
Ridiculous.
So, we're going to be getting into the top 10 Pokemon here, our MVP race. And you can read off 10 to 6, and I will read off 5 to 1.
Alrighty. So, in 10th place with the Silk Scarfs, we have Victini, who has played 3 games, has won 2 of them, got 4 kills in those 3 games, has 2 deaths, and has I believe a kill per game of 1.3 and a survival percentage of 33.3%. Excadrill is at number 9 with the Talon Flames at 3 games played, 2 games won, 5 kills, 3 deaths, with a 0.0 survival percent ratio. Talon Flames are back again with the Rotom. Games played 1, games won 1, kills 3, deaths 0, 3 kills per game, and 100% survival ratio. Didn't die in his first battle. You guys, the Shelmets, are in 7th place with the Mega Aggron. 2 games played, 1 game won, 4 kills, 1 death, and a 2 kill per game with a 50% survival ratio. And number 6 is the Kinglers with their Mega Medicham, which did they use last battle?
I don't believe so. It only came like the first 2 games.
Yeah, the Mega Medicham is in 6th place though, only showing up for 2 games so far. Has not won one, but has 5 deaths, 2.5 kills per game, and has died every single time it's come in though. So that is pretty interesting seeing that in 6th place.
Yeah, some very interesting ones there, especially Mega Medicham. You know, you have a team with no wins, but still 5 kills with Mega Medicham.
Medicham is such a threat. I remember when it was an even bigger threat in X and Y. People didn't know what to do with it. Now we're here in Oras, and it's still plugging along. I know Mega Mawile kind of died down from hype and is still going in and dealing damage beyond what anyone can really comprehend sometimes.
Yeah, so at the top 5 here we have Keldeo at number 5 with 2 games played, 2 games won, 4 kills, 0 deaths, and a +4 differential for the Sea Kings. In number 4 we have Aegislash with 2 games played, 2 games won, 4 kills, 0 deaths, and a +4 differential for the Cobalions, only ahead of Keldeo by the alphabet, which is a thing. At number 3 we have Mega Manectric for the Kabutops. 3 games played, 3 games won, 5 kills, 0 deaths, +5 differential. Number 2 we have Mega Diancie for, once again, the Sea Kings, with 3 games won, 3 games played, 6 kills, 1 death, +5 differential. And at number 1 for the Kabutops, after its incredible sweep this week, we have Volcarona with 2 games played, 2 games won, 7 kills, 1 death, and a +6 differential. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, that Volcarona with that sweep really did not help anything in these stands. The Kabutops have 2 Pokemon in the top 5 top 10 right now, and 2 Pokemon in the top 5 actually. Yeah, so yeah. It's a team you really, really want to watch out for.
Yeah, that Mega Manectric showing why it's one of the best electric types around, and sorry about that, and showing why it's one of the best electric types around, even though it has to Mega. But that thing just doesn't go down. Aegislash, this is the first time we've even seen it in the top 5 after all these seasons. And Keldeo, Lax loves his Keldeo. As I said, it was like MVP Season 1, it was in the top 3 Season 2, and now that Lax has found his Keldeo, he's gonna ride it to victory. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Keldeo rise up. Something
Keldeo,
very interesting, though, that a lot of people don't expect. Mega Diancie up there at number 2.
Yeah, that Mega Diancie is coming along pretty well with it playing in all 3 games so far, and the 6 kills only to be trumped by the Volcarona right now. Otherwise, it's doing a little bit better in a sense. Mega Diancie is such a threat, it's so versatile. It really isn't something you need to be taking very lightly if you ever do go up against it, and the Pokemon on their team with that Diancie and with the number 5 spot of the Keldeo. They're two very big Pokemon that are huge threats, not dealt with in the proper way.
Yeah, this is a thing that always happens with the PGL. We get Pokemon in here that you kind of expect. You expect to see Keldeo there. You kind of expect to see Aegislash, Mega Manectric, Mega Medicham, Excadrill, and Victini. Don't really see Rotom coming. You don't really see Mega Aggron coming. You don't see Mega Diancie going up there. And it's just, some things are throwing me for a loop. But I mean, this is kind of what happens early seasons in draft leagues, you know. Things that people don't really expect to be threats end up being threats, and this really shows it.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, let's get into our next week games. So for the first game next week, we have the Knutsford Kabutops facing off against the Sydney Sea Kings. Very excited to see this one.
Yeah, that's gonna end in a very interesting way. I really don't. I have no idea what's going to go on there.
So let's just throw some predictions out here. Both teams undefeated right now, 3-0 in the same division. Both looking to kind of take that number 1 spot, seal it up from each other. Who do you think has this? We got the newcomer Tops versus the veteran Lax.
Honestly, the way Lax has been playing, unless the Kabutops do something crazy and bring some unexpected sets and just kind of mess with the meta a little bit, do like, I don't know, like a freaking physical sweeper that isn't usually doing something, or an item not expected, kind of like the Tornadus earlier that we talked about. The Sea Kings probably have it. They're playing so well, especially with that Keldeo in his back pocket at all times, and the Mega Diancie's 2 Pokemon in the top 5. It's not something to be taken very, you know, with you know, like taken with like a feather, you know. It's going to be very close, but I think the Sea Kings are overall going to top the Kabutops.
Yeah, I feel like the Kabutops are just not really tested right now. Every team they faced is pretty much a losing team right now. You got the Frogadiers they faced, which are 1-2 now. You got the Kinglers they faced, which are 0-3, and the Clinks they faced, which are 0-3 now. And he had some pretty close calls, especially with the Clinks. He had a 30% chance to kill the Metagross, and he did. But had he not, would we still be talking about him the way we are? I mean, I don't know. I'm going to have to go with Lax on this one, because Lax just overall veteran. He's a playoff team, and he's had some pretty solid victories so far. So, pretty excited to see this match. But if I have to go with anyone, I'd go with Lax.
I fully agree with you on this one. Lax has got so many threats that I don't know what you can do about it. And I feel like Lax is going to do something about this too. He's probably going to mix his sets up. He's probably going to do something a little different. He's not going to do, you know, the normal stuff. He wants to throw you off. He wants to have the poker face. He wants to deal with that you won't be able to win. And Kabutops, unless, like I said, they bring some crazy ass set, there's not much they could really do.
Yeah. Another interesting thing to note is, I always say this about Lax, but he's a late game player. He has pulled off more 1-0s and 2-0s in league format than anyone I know, and that's because he plays his endgame so beautifully. He knows how to get in other people's heads and say, okay, this is how I'm going to win. And Tops seems to be the same way. He kind of gets in your head and says, this is how I'm going to win, and it works out for him. So I'm interested to see that kind of aspect go on between them two, and see who has the better late game here, and so on.
Yeah, Lax is just... honestly, there's so much you could say about him, the way he plays, the late game, the Pokemon, type of Pokemon he brings, the way he sets them up, the way he does everything. It's just, he's such a hard person to take on without changing your ways completely and going outside your bounds, taking those risks, hopefully getting those hacks, you know. You gotta kind of really want to beat him. Like, bring a Klefki with Attract and Captivate or something. Like, something stupid. you know?
Well, yeah. Really looking forward to that Kabudopsi Kings game. So,
Am I?
let's move on to the next game we have here with the United Kingler versus the Blackthorn Frogadiers. Very interesting match, if I have to say so. Both teams are on pretty big losing streaks right now. I wouldn't say that counts this match out as being pretty looking forward to. Kinglers, although they haven't been playing too well, they've been figuring out how to work with their team more, I feel.
Yeah, they're adapting very quickly.
Yeah. The Frogadiers, they're very experienced, and they have a very threatening team, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like this is the week Willow's going to pull something out of his hat.
Yeah, I can agree. I fully agree to that. The way Willow's been playing, they have the 0-3, right? I'm not mistaken on that. But he's been meshing with his team and with his Pokemon choices very well, and the fact of the matter, I personally think the Kinglers are going to pull through with something this week and maybe beat the Frogadiers, ending their losing streak, putting a win on the table, and giving the Frogadiers a little bit longer of a losing streak.
Yeah, the way the Frogadiers play, very kind of standard-ish. They run the standard sets, kind of the regular things you would expect to see from some of their Pokemon.
Yeah. I
haven't seen anything too crazy from him yet. But the Kinglers, running some pretty crazy sets lately. I know there was a funny Shift Tree set he was running. Choice Scarf, Destiny Bond, Gardevoir could be a huge threat.
Yeah.
Just crazy things like that. And I don't think Willow's scared to try it out.
No, not at all. Like you said, the Frogadiers, going with a standard set and something so bread and butter, cookie cutter, it's hard to go up against those crazy sets like the Kinglers have. You don't expect it. You get set in the mindset, you're like, oh, I got this person's got the standard set, I'm going to go for the 2 times effective move, and I'm going to knock them out, or I'm going to get 50%, or I'm going to get 75%, and I'm just going to keep doing that, do the normal switching, do the predictions. But when the Kinglers bring in something stupid, in a good way, it's kind of hard to deal with it when you have a standard set. You're not prepared for something like that. They could send in, I don't know, they could send in a Gardevoir and have it use Thunderbolt. Like, what? Where'd that come from? Or have it use Flamethrower. Like, what? I know it doesn't get Flamethrower, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I know when I was playing in the D-League, the second time I faced Hardy, he brought some crazy things. He brought special Archeops and things like that, and it just threw me for such a loop, and if I didn't have Reuniclus in that game, I probably would have lost. But, yeah, not comparing Willow to Hardy, I'm just saying, crazy sets throw off good players sometimes.
Yeah. I remember I was trying to do a Mega Flygon, not Mega Flygon, hello? What? I remember I was trying to do a mixed Flygon, and I gave it 2 physical moves and 2 special moves, and it did not work out well at all. I don't know what I was doing. That's because I'm not the best player in the world. But Willow, on the other hand, I can see him doing a mixed Flygon or something of that. Like that was just an example, obviously. I could see him doing something to throw those standard type of players off to the point where it's going to be an easy 6 to 5 to 4-0 maybe, even if played correctly. So
yeah, and he stood toe to toe with Lax already, and gave Lax a pretty good run for his money. Probably a better run for his money than the Frogadiers did.
Very, very well against Lax.
Yeah, had he gone for the Iron Head there at the end, we'd probably be talking about a different game then. But looking forward to that one too. Alpha Division has some pretty good games coming up there.
Yes.
So let's move on to the next one here, where we have the Boston Silk Scarves versus the Minnesota Wild Charge. Used to be number 1 in Omega versus now number 1 in Omega, and very interested to see this one.
I haven't watched the Wild Chargers battle yet, so I don't know much about how they play. The Silk Scarfs, again, I'm not too familiar with them now, and just take quick looks at their teams, but I think it could be anyone's game, really.
Yeah. As we said before, Omega Division very close. So this is going to be a battle that really matters, seeing who wants to take first.
Yeah, it's going to be whoever really wants it more. It's not going to be a matter of whoever plays it better. It's going to be a matter of, I'm coming in here with a vengeance. I'm getting up to the top. I need to get this win. I need to put myself in the limelight. I need to make sure my voice is spoken. It's more of, like you said, it's more of not a matter of losses in this one. It's whoever can get their energy out there.
Yeah, and I feel like they both have really good teams, and they've both been using both their teams very, very well. Interested to see whether the Silk Scarfs will bring Sun again or not. And seeing how the Wild Charge will deal with that, I mean, that's kind of the main thing that's kind of making me want to say True might just take this one home. I mean, what do you really have to switch into a Victini? This one's so up in the air. If I have to put it on anyone, I'm gonna go with the Silk Scarfs, like a really close match.
Yeah, I can see it being like a 1-0 at like 25% HP from the Silk Scarfs or something.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if the Wild Charge pull it back, though.
Yeah, it really could be anything right now, but I would also lean more towards the Silk Scarf.
Yeah, so very, very interesting game we have going on there, but let's see what we have going on with this next one. Delta Division, a lot of interdivision this week, isn't there?
I think every single game is...
No, except two. The last two. No, wait. The last two are due. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, every single game is interdivision.
Yeah, so... next game we have is the Seattle Smeargulls versus the Detroit Cobalions. Two teams who faced off week 1, I believe.
I think it was week 2.
Was it?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I can check really quick, give me a second here. I'm remembering week 2 for some reason. I don't know why.
No, yeah, it was week 1. We wouldn't make them play that much quicker again. But this is the first rematch we have going on during this season.
Yeah, okay.
So,
yeah.
Very interested to see how the Detroit Cobalions are going to be able to play around the Smeargulls again.
Yeah, I really don't know. Sketchy's brought some pretty cool, crazy things going on, and some very standard things as well, so...
Like I always say in every league I'm in, it's harder to beat someone twice. It is so hard to beat someone twice. If you can do it, props. But when you play them the first time and you show them too much of how you play, what you know, how you're going to play against them, they're going to take that against you. And next time you play, you better be sure they're going to come back with a vengeance. I mean, the Cobalions have been playing well, but I wouldn't say that they're ready to play a rematch against the Smeargulls.
Yeah,
I mean, they've had some close calls.
They have, and like you said, it's very hard to win twice against somebody because the person you're playing against that you've already played against knows your play style and knows what you're going to do usually. So it's really hard to get those predictions in like you would need. I don't know, it could be anyone's game, and I know I'm the commentator for the Smeargulls, but I am leaning towards the Smeargulls on this one, just for the fact that they're going to come back with the vengeance.
Yeah.
Sketchy has already been tweeting about it. He's like, oh, I got this team, I'm ready to go, ready to get this 6-0, you know, being a little cocky about it, but I really do think the Smeargulls are going to come back with a bit of a vengeance and overall win this next battle.
Yeah, everything makes you want to say Cobalions, but it's so hard to beat someone twice. Even when I play someone twice in a league, I go, how the hell am I going to approach this again? And I think that's what's really going to be in Ennisters ahead. Unless you're bringing the same team, which, people see coming half the time. I just have to give it to the Smeargulls because I feel like they're going to come up with a new game plan that the Cobalions are just not going to be ready for. I mean, You know, week 1 they said, okay, I'm going to use Aegislash, do this, blah, blah, blah. That's not going to happen again. You can't pull that off twice on someone.
Yeah, you can't surprise someone twice. It doesn't work like that. A surprise is a surprise, and it only happens once. Like a jump scare. Expect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Smeargles, I honestly feel like they're going to come back with some...
I don't think it's going to be a big win for them either. I feel like the Smeargles are probably going to make this a really close call. And
yeah, I wouldn't say a big win either. I like maybe a 2-0, 2-0, 1-0, 3-0 if really playing well. I wouldn't expect a 4-6-0 though. But it's... I don't know, something tells me Smeargles have some pretty scary things coming to Cabalion's ways.
Yeah. But, yeah, so with that, let's move on to the 5th match here with the Atlanta Talonflame versus the New York Clinks. Very interesting match. Kind of torn between this one, because the Clinks are Season 2 champions, you know, are 0-3 right now, but I still wouldn't count them out. I wouldn't say they're playing bad lately, just having a bit of bad luck.
Yeah, yeah, I'd fully agree on that one. A lot of hacks on the Clink side, not in a good way. The Talonflames are also kind of in that same boat, so I don't know.
Yeah, as we said, everyone in Omega right now is 2-1 besides C, and I don't know, I think C has the team to do it this week if he really puts his mind to it. He did pick up Clefable this week. I don't know if he's able to use that this week or not. And he also has Alakazam, so I think C's team benefits more from the sand than T-Train's does. So I don't see the Hippopotas coming or any kind of sand stuff. He could bring Mold Breaker Excadrill to hit the Rotom Wash. Defensive Garchomp kind of shuts that down, though.
Very true. Some good predictions could be made, though, and that ultimate outcome could happen. I honestly, I do not have a prediction for this match. I really don't.
The Talonflames do have Blaziken, which we just allowed this season with Speed Boost. It can't Baton Pass, though, so don't worry. I think the Clinks are going to be able to manage it, though. I feel like they will. And I haven't seen Mega Metagross do work yet. So I'm going to say, I want to see Mega Metagross do some work, okay? This thing was in like top 3 last season. And I want to see the Clinks take it home with not a big win, but a very close, well-played win.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Clinks take it home, but like I said, I can't make anyone.
Yeah, it's a hard game to call. A lot of them are. Did I lose you? Oh.
No.
Okay, so final game we have is me, New York Shelmets, versus the Seattle Staraptors. Both players of the D-League Season 2. So, and this is our primetime match, I think. Is it?
Is it? I'm not sure. I don't think
Let me check the schedule page. I think this is primetime. Yeah, it's primetime again. Primetime 2 weeks in a row? Are you kidding me? So what are your thoughts on this one?
If you're bringing the Mega Aggron again, unless it's the Raptors, I have something up their sleeve. I don't know, man. That's tough to deal with. That's not something to be taken without warning. And there are some things that could deal with your Mega Aggron. There are some things that could deal with some of the other Pokemon you have on your team, but I'm doing something to really bring it back. What is their record right now? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Staraptors?
Yeah.
0-3?
0-3. I don't know, man. I have some stuff working on the top 5 plays, which yes, I will be doing. It should be going up. It should have either gone up or will be going up soon, depending on when you guys watch this. I have some stuff on them, but I don't know. The Spear Goals at one point recently, yeah, they did they did week 2, and they play well. It's just the fact is I'm not sure they can really deal with all the kinds of threats that will be coming their way from your team and from other teams in the league currently. So I don't know. It might be your game this time.
All right, so
And you can't really say anything about it.
I'm not going to speak too much on that match because obviously I'm playing it. So
do you have any opinions on the Raptors in like a friendly manner, not anything calling them out or anything?
I mean, we were in D-League Season 2 together, but we never played, you know what I mean? So it's going to be exciting to see a match where we do play, like what the outcome will be. I'm very nervous for this match because he has a very scary team. He just picked up Chansey, and he has Mega Sableye. That's scary as hell.
Yeah.
And Nidoqueen hits like a damn truck.
I had a Mega Sableye once. I loved it.
Yeah, it's the most annoying thing in OU. So yeah, I think that's all we have to say. It's been like an hour.
Yeah,
so that's going to be the weekly recap for you guys. Let us know down below. Well, let Zekrom know down below what more you guys want to see. Everything we say in these is just our opinions. Nothing to be taken too hard. We could say something happens and it doesn't. Or we could say an opinion about a team and it's not really, just, we shouldn't be afraid to speak our mind to you guys, and I don't think any analyst should in that matter. We're all here just to critique and help out, and that's all this is really about it. So, yeah, very interesting games we have going on and all that, but I'm not sure if I'll be doing this next time with Zekrom here. He might have someone else on, but I'm just here for the first week to kind of show him the ropes, show him how to do things, and
yeah, if you guys could put all the feedback you have in the comment section down below, I'd really appreciate it. What I can do to change, what I can do to help you guys understand the situations going on more, and different things that you would think you would like me to say, and different things you'd like us to do with this specific series. I think that's pretty much all we have for right now.
Yeah, that's about it. So, hope you guys enjoyed this hour-long talk session, and bye.
Yeah, see you guys later. Give you a little something to listen to on the way.